In the dead of night, when the moon is high and ill winds blow, and the banshees cry and the moonlight casts an unearthly glow, arise, my love, with tales of woe.
Good evening. It is 12 midnight, the paranormal hour. Welcome to Ghost. I'm your host, Chief Lawson. Ghost is a podcast to discuss all paranormal and parapsychology subjects. You can find Ghost on all major formats, so tell your friends, tell your family. Come listen to Ghost. Good evening, listeners. It is the midnight hour. It is time for Ghost. Tonight, we talk about Krampus. This is a new, improved deep dive into Krampus, the beast, the legend. With us tonight is Jennifer Verne, our research manager and podcast producer.
Good evening.
And Heather Lawson, our case manager and podcast director.
Hello.
We all know, or at least most of us know, who St. Nick is. But who is Krampus, you say? You know, that's been more popular than it used to be. And actually, probably my first real exposure to Krampus about 3 years ago. We were in Meyer looking at the Christmas decorations around, November or sometime. Anyway, Heather looks at me and goes, "Oh my God, look at that." It was a little bitty stuffed Krampus that had been,
we should have got it.
Yeah, we should have, because they have never seen it since. I would have loved to have gotten it. It wasn't very expensive. It was like $10-20. Anyway, but that's the first time we'd ever seen it. I really didn't know the legend that well. She did, and she kind of gave me her version of what the legend was, and it got me interested. And then a friend of mine, John Essex, which we'll talk about a little later, he got me even further interested. And I think the piece of resistance beyond that point was Jeff Ballinger, who actually, or Ballinger. Belanger. Yeah, Belanger. I'm sorry, Jeff. Belanger, with his...
you could pick whatever.
I'm sure he gets it mispronounced all the time.
And I think there's a few I've heard mispronounce it. But yeah, Jeff Belanger did a workshop and wrote a book, and it's a fantastic book. It's called The Fright Before Christmas. It's available to you on Amazon. I'd recommend you pick up a copy. It's great. And it's titled Surviving Krampus. So, anyway, I really liked the way he handled this. He did a good job, so that really got me more interested. So, we're going to revisit Krampus. We did do a episode last year, prior to Christmas, prior to December 1st. It was in the, I think, the 30th of November once again. And you can refer back to that, but this has even more information. So, again, a lot of our origins of Krampus, as we know it, come out of the European region of Germanic and Austrian, and some Swedish roots. Jeff Belanger, in his book, The Fright Before Christmas, explains its adaptations from Greek mythology and from the god Pan. He believes, Pan, with a little flute,
the goatman.
Yeah, that's where you think, goat legs. He thinks that's its truest form. And I got to agree. I mean, if you look at that, you got the hooves, you got the goat legs. I mean, it could be there. So, and also there's influences from the Jewish tradition with attributes from Lilith, Adam's first wife. And I know this is kind of a stretch, but the Jewish say that, that this was what tempted her was originally this creature that's related to the image of Krampus, that the devil appeared in such a fashion. So I think Judaism claims a bit of that. I think it's a bit of a stretch. Even the Canaan nation, they claim that he came from Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess you can wrap all of that because,
Sure.
The modern day image of Satan or the devil is a hoofed goat-like figure.
With horns.
Kind of looks like Krampus, actually, now that I think about it a second.
I mean, if you go back to the more Christian era of Adam and Eve, because Lilith isn't involved, it's usually a snake. But if you go back to the Tanakh and you go into Lilith, the first wife of Adam, that's the devil is depicted more as a goat-like. So, I mean, I could see where this is coming from, truthfully. Right. And there's a lot of things with Krampus that dates back to pre-Christian eras. And, you know, of course, anything involving the church is always a little tricky. And the church wants, just like any other entity, wants things that make Christianity or their particular religion, whichever church it is, more appealable. So they use Krampus to their advantages.
I think I see a trend happening in our next 3 episodes coming out. People, just hint, hint.
Yes. Chief bought a great book and has had a good time with it.
Well, this is good tie into what I researched for the end of December.
Yes. So we all have been kind of delving into this, and I think in one way or another. But Krampus is really, you know, a lot of people kind of glorified him as the devil, and it really isn't meant to be. Krampus became popular really again in the late 18th, early 19th century. You know, and it was kind of a resurgence there where people, and there's a lot of things here that I find neat between this one and the next episode, which is St. Nick and the other Ghosts and Denizens of Christmas. We'll talk about traditions and how they came about. And, you know, one tradition is kind of dying, although I and my wife still do it. We send out Christmas cards, much to the mailman's dismay. The mailman doesn't like us, and I know he doesn't listen to us, so I don't worry about it. But anyway, yes, there's been several complaints to the main office about our mailman. If you ever watched, was it Funny Farm with Dan Aykroyd, you know, where the mailman throws the mail at the box as he drives. Yeah, this is kind of the relationship we have with our current mailman. His brother worked for me.
How he treats our mail.
Yes, kind of how he treats our mail. Yeah, his brother worked for me on the fire department. His brother was a better employee. Anyway, but all that aside. So, anyway, you know, we still send out Christmas cards. The tradition came in the early 1900s. It was a resurgence of Krampus. They sent out Krampus cards. And I've seen a ton of these on the internet. They're really cool.
Yeah, they are really cool.
Yeah, and you know, if we really had the time and availability to do it, I would send out a set of Krampus cards, you know, the 1st of December.
And the ones with Krampus and St. Nick together?
Yes, together, yes. There's so many neat ones, and we could have them reproduced pretty easily. But, you know, that may be something for the future. Maybe I'll do that for some of our friends, is to send out Krampus cards. But that's where the tradition of that came.
If y'all want a Krampus card, hit up our Facebook page.
Yes, there you go. Yep.
Go.
There's and I tell you what, there's so many neat ones out there. So many theories exist, but no hard facts. Really, where Krampus come out of. I think Krampus that's the cat, dear. If you're listening, he's in there hollering for whatever reason. We have a cat that has some mental issues. Anyway, there's no really hard evidence to 100% one place that Krampus came out of. He was certainly, I think, a developed subject out of many origins. So the first written account was published in 1765. And, you know, but when Santa Claus, which was a Danish origin, when that came on site as a good guy, that kind of overshadowed, which, you know, before when Krampus was an equal part into the St. Nick Day celebration. We'll talk about that in a minute. But again, the first written account was 1765. Hitler and the Nazis outlawed Krampus. The tradition, it violated their views of Nazism, so they didn't want that around. So they actually outlawed it. You know, Krampus has had many descriptions, varying depending on the origin of the legend, depending on which one you get it from. He's definitely anthropomorphic figure, which means he changes and can change up his appearance. He's described as a half goat or half demon, and he has one hoofed foot in most of the time, or two. In some stories, he only has one human foot and one hooved foot, which I didn't know this. No. Yeah, this is something that Jeff's book brought out. He has horns. Most of the time, they're twisted, sometimes like a ram, sometimes they're twisted like, you know, like a demon horn, for lack of better words. He has a forked tongue with fangs. And most of the time when you see masks of him, they're made with the open mouth and the tongue extending and the fangs very prominent. He carries a white birch stick, which we're going to get back to this white birch thing. I found a good outsource there to make money. White birch stick, and he walks with a walking stick that is adorned with bells. Now, you know, this white birch thing got to be interesting. Have you seen how...
I was just going to say, isn't there some sort of Christmas tradition with 3 white birch logs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy them for $20 at
Meijer. Yeah.
Or Menards.
Weren't we saying that we needed to chop down a birch tree up north?
Well, that's it, because we walked in the birch, she looked at me and she says, "You're not going to believe this. This is like 1.5 feet, 3 of these. They're about 1 inch in diameter. They want $20 for them." And I'm thinking, you know what? One trip to Michigan with a trailer, we are in the money, baby. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh my God.
A year's worth of salary.
But what's worse is I see these people buying them and leaving Menards with them. I'm thinking back to W.C. Fields. There's a sucker born every day. I'm thinking,
$20 for 3 little sticks.
Yeah, I get the tradition. I would buy 3 damn sticks and keep them year round. I mean, shellac them or something, people. What?
No, you know what? Just give me some paper towel rolls and I'll paint them myself.
There you go. Yeah, one way or another. I mean, I'm just cheap
paper
naturally.
that looks like birch.
But yeah, that's the first time we really got into Birch Legend. There is one. I'm not going to go through it until we do the Christmas episode. But anyway, he brought the birch on the scene because he carried birch switches, okay? And those were made to beat the children. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. The bells were to give you warning that he was coming. So the rest of the descriptions of his appearance, they vary wildly. Some say he wears a red coat piped in white, same as his counterpart, St. Nick. His horns can be wavy, straight, curled. His tongue can be that of a serpent. It's usually always out of his mouth. He wears black Santa boots. Now that, when he does wear boots, and he's not wearing the hooves,
right?
Which I guess the hooves he doesn't wear. They're either part of it. Maybe he's wearing boots or a hood.
One boot and one hoof.
Yeah,
right?
Could be. Yeah, he always has a basket on his back to carry bad children in.
While he's walking with one boot and one hoof.
That'd make a tracker's nightmare, wouldn't it? And they go, well, there was this deer and this hunter, and they were walking together from the bar one night. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so sometimes he has coal sticks. Most of the time, it's coal in a bag he carries with him.
So
this is where we got coal.
This is where the coal comes from. So, well, there's actually this one, and then there's another one in the next actual episode that we'll talk about, and this is in the Christmas Denison episode. There's another entity that also brings coal, but basically, he brought coal to the bad children. So Santa would bring gifts and treats, and he would put them, give them to the kids. The kids that were bad got coal.
So they broke up the list. Santa took the nice.
Yep.
Krampus took the naughty.
And they worked together. They were cohorts.
Okay.
Some say he's considered to be the king of witches. Others say he's the demon or the Christmas demon. There's one author we'll talk about in a minute that we used for this this study, and it was a book called The Yule Lord, and he's known as the Yule Lord. I think really, the big part of this came in Catholicism. They paired both St. Nick and Krampus together. You have the yin and the yang. You have the good and you have the bad. So if you're a good kid when they arrive, well, you're in good shape. If you're a bad kid, not so much.
Get a whooping and a piece of coal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, now here's another fun fact. We're pretty sure.
I don't believe this. Are you really going to go here?
Yeah, I'm going to go here. Well, I tell you what, Jeff goes here to his book, and I next year at Michigan Paracon, when I see Jeff Belanger, I'm going to ask him about this because this is fun. He is pretty sure that Dr. Seuss's vision of the Grinch of Christmas came from Krampus. Now, it's a little bit of a stretch because, the Grinch, at least the Dr. Seuss cartoon version I grew up with, because I'm 57 at the time of this taping. So, I watched the animated version. He didn't have horns. Now, I honestly can say I have never seen the Michael Keaton version.
Michael Keaton version?
No, it's not Michael Keaton.
Jim Carrey.
Is it Jim Carrey does? I thought
yes.
Michael Keaton. Okay.
No, that's
Jim Carrey. Yeah.
And the animated version, when he makes that big smile, his hair curls up like horns.
Oh, I suppose it does.
Yeah, it does.
I hadn't thought about that. But they Jeff was really in his book. He believed that this was the forerunner of where the Grinch Christmas came in.
Huh.
And side note, actually...
Well, I can kind of see the theory behind it.
Yeah.
I could see, reading this legend and saying,
Well, just so you know, Jim Carrey,
tone it down for some
who did the Grinch movie, he owns the rights to that because he never wanted anybody else to ever do the Grinch but him.
Wow.
So he was really very solid about this thing. So, but it's just kind of interesting. The more you research, the better this becomes. So, but yeah, this is where our bag of coal comes in. Now, every Christmas, our children are grown, so we're older, and our children are grown, and they come in, and half grown, some of them. By the way, I'm not all the way grown, and I would tell you that if you can get a hold of the Phantom Mystery drink, It's a load of fun, folks. Anyway, Phantom Mystery Zero. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that any further because we're past Halloween. But anyway, it's still good stuff. And it has some interesting attributes we won't discuss on
here.
air.
No, that's not good.
Yeah. So anyway, but anyhow, just so you know, the funny thing with this is they think that's where the Grinch Christmas came from.
That's interesting.
Okay. Catholicism kind of paired Saint Nick, which was one of their patron saints, with Krampus, and you see them in a lot of the Krampus cards. Going together. They're in the sleigh together. Yeah. They come together, and they go to homes together. I remember watching Jeff Blanger's, he had a series called New England Legends. It's a really cool series. But if you go there and you watch the Christmas special, the Christmas special, it talks about a Krampus society, which we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. And we'll talk about now. It's called the New England Krampus Society. Fantastic folks. And they were really good to help me out with this when we were putting this together. They had a lot of things on their Facebook page. But he went to one of their balls. Now, one of the things I and Heather want to do is put this on our bucket list. We want to go to a Krampus ball or Krampus run. And I mean...
Bloomington used to have one.
No, it's brought back.
They got it
really?
back.
It is back this year. I have a friend who is in Bloomington, and she just posted something on the Facebook page. Krampus is back.
Stay tuned, folks. We may be attending this run. I mean, I want to do this. I've thought about getting
I tried to take my kids first year, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah, I was really hoping they'd bring it back. If they bring it back, I will be willing to get the Krampus outfit.
They disbanded.
Wow. Well, I think there's a lot. The New England Christmas or New England Krampus Society has withstood all this, and they're out there and they do a good job. And I want to thank them because they made me a member, which I thought was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. And so I am now a member of the New England Krampus Society. I'm going to add that. I'm going to brag about it. I'm very, very proud to be a member, and I want to thank them immensely. And I will eventually, I and Heather will make the ball. We will get there one year. May not be this year, may not be next, but we'll get there. So, and if Bloomington has this, you may get another edition of this for next year on the Bloomington Run. Yours truly may be laid out in Krampus attire. So anyway, just getting to where this is at, I'll be honest with you, if you get a chance, look at Season 2, Episode 20. That is our Christmas Denizens, and that will have more information as we go along. So real quick, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. This is one of our ads for John Essex, who is the president and owner of Essex Art ABC. He's your go-to guy for artwork, bagpiping, and caricatures, and even fun painting parties. He does some wine and paint. This guy's great. I mean, my God, he does some fantastic things. If you want to have a neat party, maybe a bridesmaid party or something along that line, or you just want to have a good get-together for the holidays, look at the Facebook page at facebook.com/EssexArt, and that's spelled ESSEX Art, and look him up. John's a great guy. Tell him that Chief and Ghost to Ghost sent you, please. We get nothing for that, but I just want him to know I'm taking good care of him. So thank you again for listening to Ghost to Ghost, and have a good evening. Hi, folks. We are back, and we're discussing Krampus. So we're talking about the dynamic duel for a bit. St. Nicholas rewards good children, as we said, and Krampus punishes the bad. So, there's several other legends that not only does he whip children and give them coal, there's several legends he takes them off and even eats them. So, depending on where you're from, depends on whether you get repeat.
Which version you get.
Yeah, there may be not repeat felons here. I mean,
Well, see, I never heard this Krampus legend. Now, my grandmother is Belgian, or was Belgian, bless her soul. And we always celebrated St. Nicholas Day with the shoes out and get the oranges and everything. Now, she never ever told me that there was a counterpart. No. She was a very strict Roman Catholic, but she never brought in Krampus.
Oh. Well, I've always been envious of you because I'd like to go to Belgium. I really would. I love going to the UK, and for all my brothers and friends there, I mean, I have a wonderful time being Scottish. I want to take Heather. She's never got a chance to go, and I could live there. We actually found property there. It's cheaper than United States. We can even get, you know, Scottish cows cheaper. I mean, my God.
Yeah, but I don't know about now.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. So the whole house thing is a mess.
With the current interest rate, it probably still is cheaper.
Yeah.
Well,
they're predicting 10% by the end of this year. So, yeah, that's ugly. And this is obviously 2023. So, what is their job? Well, you know, the dynamic duel goes out, and this has gotten to be a legend. One of the guys, I was getting to this, one of the guys from in the TV appearance with Jeff Belanger actually was from the New England Society, and his family were all Austrian. And they would come. There was a group that came around to this small town, and there was a Saint Nick and a Krampus. It was kind of a scary thing for them, you know, to see how well they fared out, you know. So, yeah, you know, this was a legend that was very real for many people. So, you know, this small bag of coal that he carried around with him, you know, you hope that means there weren't that many bad kids, but you never know. So, you know, and certainly no second offenders in some cases down the American tradition. So, now, Jennifer, have you been bad?
I'm never bad, Chief.
Well, there you go, Heather.
I'm always bad.
Yeah. So, listeners, have you been bad? Is there no hope? Well, act now, and you may save yourself a beating, unless you're into that kind of thing. Tradition says on the evening of the 5th of November, which is December, I'm sorry. Yeah. December the 5th is Krampus night. So if you leave a shot of schnapps, either Krampus schnapps or Rumpelminz, which those that don't know what Rumpelminz is, I have this in our bar. I like this really well. It is a licorice version of schnapps. Heather does not like licorice. That explains that noise. But anyway, I like it real well. But anyway, and also if you go to a very prominent Italian restaurant on the north side, they serve it as a dessert liqueur. It's very, very good. But anyway, if you set this out at night on your porch, okay, and if on top of that, if by serving their special alcohol, also you can turn around and light 2 candles, one for Krampus, one for St. Nick. They should be white tapers, and you light them on the night of December the 5th. They will pass you by. Now, you ask me, where do you get Krampus schnapps? I asked myself that same question. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you a quick shout out to Chuckanut Bay Distillery. Now, that's a neat town. I'd like to live in Chuckanut. I'm just saying, that's a hell of a name. Chuckanut. I even like saying it. It's got a hell of a thing. You get drinking Chuckanut Bay. Anyway, Chuckanut Bay Distillery, they make Krampus herbal liqueur. And folks, if you ship us a free bottle, we'll even give you free advertisement. We have yet to get that. Did. Yeah, we've asked that 2 years in a row. We haven't got that. I highly doubt it's coming our way. But anyway, contact us on our Facebook page. We'll give you a mailing address. But anyway, yeah, if you want to reach out, I don't know how much the bottles are, but they actually produce the liquor. It's herbal liquor. I'm kind of figuring there's a couple of different liquors that are close to that, and I'm kind of figuring it's got to be one of those type. It's a very herbal type of liqueur. But if you put this out, it's supposed to repel Krampus, so he won't stop by your house. Now, if you attend any of our Christmas Ghost and Denizens lecture workshops, you'll get a card that is a free pass. It's a Krampus free pass to get you out of that. And if you attend, you get a card for free. So, something to think about. So, Krampus really returned big time in the United States in the 2000s.
Speaking of returning, I just pulled it up. Krampus is back. It is now...
is this the Bloomington?
It is.
Oh, please,
it is
please,
now
please.
B-Town Krampus. It's the inaugural year, 2023, December the 9th.
Oh.
Welcome to B-Town Krampus. We will be partnering with Switchyard Brewing Company this year to reignite the Krampus flame in Bloomington, and more details to come. So...
Okay, we want to shout out to Switchyard Brewing Company
and B-Town Krampus.
Okay, folks. Hey, you know,
December
we're gonna promote you all we can. We'll promote you on Facebook. Let us know you're there. So, and I'm going to try. Me and Heather are going to try to be there. And any of the team want to come, we'll pack a car and we'll head that way.
Yeah, I don't know exactly if it's a run, if it's just a parade, if it's fun and festivities, but
one way or another, we'll find out. All right. So fantastic! I'm so happy that's back. I really am. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the return of Krampus in 2000. Krampus made a comeback to her primarily credited internet exposure. I really think think that's probably the majority of a lot of things. Modern revival of Krampus and the St. Nick Festival here in both America and beyond. In 2012, Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo Mysteries Incorporated, had an episode with their own Krampus as the villain. Also in 2012, novel by, and this is what we talked about earlier, Gerald Brom, entitled The Yule Lord, began a surge of popularity. Now, I haven't got that book yet, but looking for it on Amazon. Formation of the Krampus Society of New England. The society is said to have over 300 members strong. They probably have more than that. This was taken at the last census they took, I suppose. The society and its members get to put on an annual Krampus ball. Now, this has got to be neat. They dress up. In Jeff's book, he tells a bit when he attended and was honored guest in 2017. These are some of the great folks. I tell you what, they were so quick to give me a membership and reach out to us, and we want to do what we can for them. I don't think they have a run. They just have the ball, but I think that is so fantastic. Yeah. Now, number 2 group, the London Krampus Society. They have a run and a ball, is my understanding. And I want to reach out to them and tell them how much we appreciate that. When we're over across the sea, we'll look you up. We try to go over every 3 or 4 years. And so, hopefully we'll be able to connect. In 2015, Universal Studios released the horror movie Krampus. Now, I have not seen this. Have you two seen this?
I've seen the trailer. There's no way I'm watching the movie. Sorry.
That's okay.
Not my vein.
I don't do slasher movies.
No, exactly.
I went to sleep during Jason. Everybody goes, oh my God, how did you do that? Well, it was easy. I have kids. I can tune them out too. It doesn't bother me. I enjoyed the film fine. I was asleep the whole time. Somebody asked me, he said, well, doesn't that frighten you? I said, let me tell you, I don't care. You put Freddy, you put Jason, any of them, give me a 12-gauge pump. They won't be making any sequels. I guarantee you. You're talking to, we talk to veterans, they look at things totally different. So anyway, but they released this, and they also had some video games, I guess they released on Krampus, and graphic novels. I have seen neither nor, so just so we're clear on that. In Europe and America, celebrations and parades, or what they call Krampus runs, have sprung up to celebrate. And this is, again, the Bloomington return. I am so happy. I can't tell you how. I know Heather is, too, because this is a chance we get to be a part of this. The Krampus run. Persons are encouraged to dress like Krampus. The costumes, oh, my God, these are a tradition. In some cases, it's a rite of passage for youth into manhood. Needless to say, they involve a lot of consumption of adult spirits, not to use, just the adults. That's our story, Your Honor. And by advice of counsel, only the adults over age of 21 have consumed alcohol. Much like a Halloween parade in December, the celebration has grown. In regions in Europe, the celebration has turned into a bit of a Mardi Gras or carnival. Celebration with great inebriation and festivities. For some, the making a Krampus costume and parading is just a big part of the Christmas celebration. And oh my God, some of these costumes
are elaborate
and expensive.
Oh, man.
There's one gentleman who Jeff outlines in his TV program and his book. And the masks start at $500. They're hand carved. And he has a museum. There's actually a museum in New England, a Krampus museum. But one town, in particular in Bavaria, had barred any public celebrations 2019 because of the fallout from the 2018 celebration. They still hadn't been able to do all the repairs from the 2018 from this festival. The Bloomington, though, I'm looking so forward to. I can't tell you enough. There are societies and runs starting everywhere. Just Google it. If you're not in Indiana, if you're in Australia, Canada, UK, Google it. You'll be surprised. Nigeria, there may be one there. You never know. Google it and see. These costumes, again, are no small things. They usually start around $500. They can go up to $2,000. Some of them have wood masks. I mean, I looked at a set of chaps that have hooves that you wear, and they're like shoes, and that's pretty expensive. The mask, and there's actually, I really don't know, and I apologize. If you're listening, I will make it up to you in future broadcasts. There's a group that is up at Paracon every year. They're from Ohio, and they make custom masks. And let me tell you what, it's a gentleman and his wife. His wife rules for me in craps tables in the casino, and I want you to know, and Heather's looking feverishly for them, they do some of the best masks you've ever seen in your life. They have a Wendigo and a Bigfoot, and I tell you what, if I have this done and I got the money and I can do it, I want them to make me a mask a Krampus mask.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, because this guy and his wife are good. I mean, I tell you what, I don't know what it would run, but I would love to have a Krampus mask because I would wear it during the Bloomington run, and I would put this together. It seems like a heck of a deal. So, anyway, the costumes can be very, very expensive, and we'll check back once Heather finds out who they are.
And I don't think in some of the European Krampus parades and Mardi Gras festival type things, I think that you have to like earn your way in. You just can't. You do. You just can't show up.
No,
with any
some
costume,
of it is
right?
the way it works, and especially in Austria, in Germany, especially in Germany, it's an inherited thing to a certain degree, but you have to work your way in. As you grow up, there's a lot of companions of Krampus that you have to perform as before you can ever get to be a Krampus. And you have to, there was a program on, I can't remember what it was, I watched it some years back, and it's about a young man who was on his first year as Krampus.
Yes, I remember seeing that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God, that was a good program. And all the things he had to go through, how he'd earned the right, and afterwards they celebrated because it was his first inaugural run. And every year the costumes come more elaborate. And one of the greatest things they do is, as they're running around, you got to be careful, but they carry branches, switches, and they tend to switch some of the lightly in a playful way, some of the spectators, and they go after big bosom women the most. But as it goes, it's all in fun, and they run around, and I mean, it's a great time. I mean, I got to admit, this is one thing I've always wanted to do. And we were associated with a shop in Nashville last year, and we talked about having a Krampus. I was trying to get a Krampus costume together for December the 5th to be running around out there and posing with pictures, but I think this would be a great thing. So, but any luck, dear?
Not yet.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you. Good evening, listeners. We are back, and we are talking about Krampus. So, and Heather's search for the couple we spoke about makes mask is still underway. So, we're going to talk about one other area of Krampus. One of my first introductions is a very good personal friend, and I'll tell you what, I think a load of this man. He's a fellow bagpiper, and for those that didn't know, I have some health reasons. I'm trying to get back into bagpipes, and he's been very helpful. He came and he bagpiped our wedding during COVID. When a lot of people were scared to be out, he came out, and he's a good brother, Mason, and he's a good piper. John does a lot of things, and I'll tell you what, he's just a fantastic guy. But John was one of the first run-ins I had about Krampus. He moved into an over 55 community, okay? And this is excerpts from an email he sent me last year. And he was not met with the best of positions about this Krampus thing. A lot of people weren't real happy about the situation. And, and I'll read this to you. In some areas, it's still considered taboo. As in the case of my good friend and brother, John Essex, he wrote this email to me for publishing in our social media. John states, and this was written last year, in the overage 55 community in which I live, there are three kinds of people divided by what I see as an interest or not when it comes to Krampus. So those that are for it and have some interest, or at least interest in it, and those that are not. Group one, surely the largest group, the people who don't give a flying flip about anything Krampus-orientated. Honestly, most of these people have probably never heard of Krampus, and if they have, maintained a meh attitude to anything Krampus, which is absolutely fine. Face it, there are plenty of niche interests, and most of the population don't give a flying flip about most of them. Then we have group two, perhaps the smallest, but most vocal. They only know of Krampus by having seen an illustration or two, perhaps saw the horns Krampus sports and that slimy tongue coming out in his beastly face, and decided they wanted nothing to do with him, and have worked to keep up any of the community's social media. Group two people allegedly said Krampus images have no business being associated with Christmas. Ironically, it's probably these same people who have told their children at one time or another over the years to be good boys and girls, because if not, they will get sticks and coal at Christmas. Not realizing sticks and coal at Christmas come straight from Krampus tales, and we want to point out that those are white birch sticks. Anyway, getting back to this, it is noted very well that group two consisting of only one person knows, and that person isn't saying. So anyway, Group 3, a small but fun group who love Christmas and all traditions associated with it, including Krampus. Increasingly, this group has a lot of fun with the Krampus traditions and have those fun interests and laughter, fueled year-long by the mindset of Group 2. And this told me one thing, I'll tell you right off the bat, but we'll come back to that. Note, none of Group 2 people are actually known by Group 3 people. An offer that was made once by Group 3 persons to meet with Group 2 people to have a friendly chat on neutral ground about harmless or fun aspects of the age-old Krampus traditions. Group 2 persons never responded to the offer. Interesting, the trophy for the scariest costume at the community Halloween party went to the person wearing, you guessed it, a Krampus costume. So anyway, told me one thing, I will never move into a 55 or older community. I had a stepfather who went around calling everybody old, even though he was. It was all these old people and old pain-in-the-ass people. He didn't want anything to do with them, although he was never actually part of them. That's the way I intend to be. So, anyway, all right. So, this shout goes out to John Essex. Thank you, brother. Love you a lot. Okay, and I think Heather has come up with some information regarding our custom mask makers. Yep, that is them. So, can you help me out?
Seymour's captive cryptids.
Seymour's cryptids?
Seymour's captive cryptids.
Oh, that is good.
Captive cryptids.
And do you have a name?
That's the name of the...
No, name of the people. Nope. Okay, that's okay. If you don't, that's fine. Seymour captive cryptids. They make the best mask. Seymour's captive cryptids. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Anyway, they make the greatest mask. And hey, folks, I'm going to send you an email, let you know you're going to be on this broadcast. But I tell you what, I want a Krampus mask. I want it from these people. These are the best there is. His wife has the best wrist as far as rolling dice for craps. Oh, my God. She actually helped me out the first year we were playing craps, not the first year we were up there. I don't ever roll my own dice, but we're not getting into that today. That's a different episode. So anyway, again, I really want you folks to make a Krampus mask. So we'll be in touch. But again, if you want a mask for Halloween, these folks make the best. I'm serious. So with that, I'm going to say that we probably have covered about all of Krampus we can cover. So come this December 5th, remember to leave a shot on the front porch, light your Krampus candles and your St. Nick candles, listen for bells, and hope he passes you by. That's all we can say. Oh, wait, hang on.
Corey and Renee Seymour.
So they run the best mask making operation I've ever seen. So, all right, very good.
Wonderful. So
again, if you're good, if you're not, you better lay low, folks. I want to cite the sources for this. Jeff Blanger's book, The Fright Before Christmas. Jeff, you did a great job. And I tell you what, he made a great presentation at Michigan Paracon. I like Jeff. He does a really good work.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And hard to believe he writes all the script for Ghost Adventures. I still have problems getting over that. Anyway, Gerald Broom, Book of the Yule Lord. PBS Monstrum. This is an old show that I dug out of the archives. And the particular edition was Krampus Origins of the Yuletide Monster. Krampus Society of New England Facebook page, which I am now a member of. Yay! And Krampus Society of London Facebook page. Alchemy of England Krampus, The Dark Side of Christmas. Folks, that's all we have tonight. And again, I can't urge you enough to make sure you get that shot of liquor and that candle out on the porch on the 5th. Make sure and be safe. Again, thank you for listening to Ghost to Ghost. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And now it's time for the ghost story of the day.
Today's ghost story of the day is from A Ghost Today by Maureen Wood and Ron Kolick. History repeats itself. Boxford, Massachusetts. Lorraine lived in an old colonial home in Massachusetts overlooking a 17th century cemetery. Her life was seemingly ordinary, that is, until her daughter Maureen turned 13 years of age. At first she began being plagued by nightmares, and it wasn't long after that her fitful sleep ended in blood-curdling screams. Lorraine, concerned for her daughter's well-being, asked her what was wrong. Maureen told her voices that wouldn't stop and of ghosts in her bedroom that visited her each night. Not sure what to believe, Lorraine took her daughter to a doctor, who scheduled a series of tests and then prescribed a heavy sedative to help drown out the unexplainable voices. That weekend, while she and her daughter were alone in the 200-year-old home, the voices began again. While Maureen lay on the couch, Lorraine went to the kitchen for a glass of water and a sedative for her ill daughter. But just as she walked into the kitchen, the front door swung open on its own. Bewildered, she shut the door. In an attempt to keep the door from swinging freely, Lorraine retrieved a butter knife out of the drawer and shoved it in the door jamb. Then she went and took a shower while Maureen slept. After the shower, she returned to the kitchen. To her horror, she found 2 knives jammed into the door. The next morning, she confronted Maureen. Perplexed, Maureen was at a loss for words. Lorraine continued, I put 1 knife in the door, and when I got out of the shower, there were 2. And not only that, all the gas jets were turned on. You could have killed us. The ghosts must have been mad that they weren't able to speak to me, Maureen replied. As if realization struck, Maureen just stood there, mouth agape. The horrors of her youth suddenly resurfaced. Unexplainable sounds and disembodied voices that had her called to her at all hours of the night. She paled. Finally, Lorraine understood. Maureen hadn't been ill. Unfortunately for them both, the ghost of the past had returned.
Thanks for listening to Ghost to Ghost. Again, I'm your host, Chief Lawson. You can find Ghost to Ghost on all major formats on the 15th and 30th of the month at midnight. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, maybe have a question or subject you'd like to ask about on air or be used on the show, please email us at ghosttoghost@spiritindiana.com, ghosttoghost@spiritindiana.com. I want to thank my production staff on Spirit, Jennifer Verne, our research manager and our producer, and Heather Lawson, our trainer on Spirit and our podcast director, for helping make these podcasts possible. My chief of staff, Andrew Brooks, for his guidance and help on the scripts, and everyone else involved. Thank you so much. See you next time. Until then, stay safe and remember the truth is out there. Good night. Ghost to Ghost podcast and its contents is the property of Spirit Paranormal Ltd., all rights reserved. We welcome you to download and play the podcast and share with others for personal use. You may not, except with written permission, use or distribute its contents for commercial use. Spirit Indiana Paranormal, covering the Hoosier State since 2002, Indy's oldest parapsychology investigation group. If you're experiencing what you believe to be paranormal issues, reach out to us for help at www.spiritindiana.com or call our hotline at 317-883-9103. Again, that is www.spiritindiana.com or our hotline at 317-883-9103. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself and the ones you love, and be safe out there.